Alright, we are back with an update on Simic Midrange for Standard. So Simic Midrange is one of my favorite deck building strategies where you control the board presence with blue and use green to play very powerful threats with a mid-range strategy to deal 20 points of damage to your opponent until they die. So, what is going on here? So we have Llanowar elves as a 1-drop and Intrepid Stable Master 2 of in the main for your acceleration. Of note, Intrepid Stable Master has reach, so it can block those pesky flyers and kill them if they're still 1/1, so you can't get a ninjutsu planeswalker in the face. So what are we trying to ramp into? We can ramp into a turn 2 Outcaster Trailblazer, which is a 4/2. It can also give you an extra mana, such as an Unsummon mana, to put a creature back to your opponent's hand, or you can cast an Intrepid Royal Treatment, or an extra mana for cards in your sideboard that we'll get to later. But also, if you enter with a creature with power 4 or greater, you draw a card, so not a bad turn 2 play or turn 3 play. And then with our extra early mana, we can crank out a very fast Colossal Rattlewurm. It can even have flash if you control a desert in one of those first few turns. It's a 6/5 Trampler on turn 3 or 4 with flash, so this can put the lights out pretty quickly. In addition, when it dies, you can exile it from your graveyard to go for a land onto the battlefield that's a desert. We'll get into those deserts later. Another excellent 4-drop is a 5/3 flyer, Stoic Sphinx. Has hexproof as long as you haven't cast a spell, so if you want to cheese this out, and then sometimes you can skate this on to victory as a quick clock as well. Our other 4-drop, surprise surprise, is what every other deck is running. A flash 4/3 Enduring Curiosity to draw you some more gas into your hand, and when it dies you still get the effect of drawing cards, so no surprises there. So what else is in the deck? We already said Royal Treatment as a way to protect those creatures from a removal spell and quickly close out games. Unsummon to bounce threats. This is a cheaper version of Into the Flood Maw. In all the games that I've played, Into the Flood Maw was played once, and so I'm running Unsummon instead because it is cheaper. Also, we have Essence Scatter to counter those creatures, because creatures is the way most decks kill you, so not a bad main deck plan. Also main deck is Blue Sun's Twilight to steal a creature from your opponent. It's really good at stealing 6/6 demon tokens, but anyway you can get another blocker out of the way and make your board more threatening. Also very good. We also have another 2-drop, the Fairy Mastermind. Not exactly budget, but 4 of them seems pretty good. An early threat that can also become a way to gain card advantage in the middle or late game as well. So that is the main deck. We have our lands are split down the middle here, 3 islands, 3 forest. We have our fast lands, Botanical Sanctum. We have our man lands, Restless Vinestock, which can also help put the lights out pretty quickly once you get the mana to make it a 5/5. Also having Trample, also buffing a creature you control to a base power of 3. If you so desire. We have YAAV Coast, the Painland, and then our other deserts, we have Sandstorm Verge, which is tutorable with your Colossal Rattlewurm, can take 1 blocker out of the equation as well to help push through some of that final damage. We also have Lush Oasis as our blue-green desert that also pings your opponent for 1 damage. So with all these cards combined, you can win a game. What is in the sideboard? We mentioned our 1 mana Pick Your Poison, which is pretty useful after a Outcaster Trailblazer to help control the board early on in the game. We have negate for more relevant control deck interaction. Just stop that thing they're trying to do. Not exactly budgety, but I think the best graveyard answer is Agatha's Soul Cauldron, since it plays into the strategy of making your creatures bigger while also attacking your opponent's graveyard. You can also turn all of your creatures with 1/1 counters into a Fairy Mastermind, which is not terrible, or they can be Llanowar elves. Not bad. We have Ifara's Dispersal as a way to get rid of those pesky fast decks that try to soup up one creature and then ride it on to victory. Put it back in their hand for 1 mana, Surveil 2. Also good against Sheltered by Ghosts, because if they're attacking, you can pay 1 blue and then the ward costs to get rid of that card. And then you get your permanent back that was sheltered by the ghosts. Similarly, Aetherize is a great way to wrath one side of the board, assuming your opponent is on an all-out aggressive strategy. All their attackers go back to their hand, and you still have a pretty nice board. And then lastly, for decks that try to flood the board with enchantments or artifacts, we have Fade from History. Wipe the board of all those cards, and then they get a 2/2 green bear as a consolation prize. Pretty good against the Azorius enchantment deck, but also really good against the Overlord deck, since it gets all those powerful overlords off the field, whether they're an enchantment creature or just an enchantment with impending counters on them. So that is the update to Simic Midrange. I took this to a 4-2 finish at a local RCQ and had a lot of fun doing so. I believe this is jolly good fun and not too much problems on the wallet. So let me know what you think and have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.